Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, wanted to talk about, further talk about Tony Bellew coming off of his sensational win over David Haye this past weekend. Probably the best performance of his career. So he got the win. He closes that chapter. He silences the critics. Good job for him. Fair play to him. The question now becomes, he's 35 years old. A lot of people are believing that he's never going to turn in a better performance than that in his entire career. So many people are saying he just retired, just hang it up. And if he said today, I'm retiring from the sport of boxing, I think he could do that and hold his head very, very high. But he still has that drive to continue fighting, or at least that's the impression he gives. And the crazy thing is, okay, if you look go from the Makabu fight to now, so from his Goodison Park fight to the second Haye fight, you see improvements in Tony Bellew. He doesn't look like a fighter that's declining. He seems, if anything, be getting a little bit better as fight by fight as he goes on with his career. So, he doesn't have a whole lot of fights left in him. He stated already, if I am going to fight, it has to be a big fight. And honestly, I think the best option for him in terms of not just accomplishment, legacy, and just what it could do for him in terms of being an entertaining fight. I think the route he really should go, because the easiest fight to make would be to fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series. As it stands right now, Tony Bellew is the WBC Emeritus Champion, which for those of you who are not familiar with what the hell that means, because I know all these damn titles, this can be confusing at times, because it confuses me at times that I'm in boxing, but he is the WBC Emeritus Champion, which basically means that if he decides to come back to cruiserweight, he can get a world title shot at the minute he decides to fight a cruiserweight again against whomever the cruiserweight champion is. As it stands right now, the cruiserweight champion for the WBC is Alexander Usyk, and Usyk will be putting that belt on the line soon against Gassiev in the World Boxing Super Series final. So he'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But I mean, why not, man? If you're not going to fight that much longer, this should be your last fight. Go for undisputed. Try to make it happen, because if you can, let's say you go in there, you fight a Gassiev, or more importantly, if you go in there and you fight Alexander Usyk and you somehow are able to be victorious, I mean, you're looking at a guy that might have a chance for the Hall of Fame if he gets a win like that on his resume. Being an undisputed champion is always a big deal. It doesn't matter what weight class it is. Terrence Crawford is undisputed. People make a big fuss about that, and they should. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter really. It does matter, but being undisputed just means a lot, because it's so hard to do in boxing. All the mandatories, all the belts, all the sanctioning fees. There's so many factors that could prevent a fighter from even having the opportunity to become undisputed, let alone actually following through and becoming undisputed itself. So, yeah, people wanted to say Tony Bellew at cruiserweight was a second-rate cruiserweight champion. Because he didn't fight none of the top cruiserweights. But I don't know about that. I'm not going to sit here and say he was better than Gassiev or Usyk, because I don't believe that. But, I mean, he did beat a pretty good fighter in Makabu. Makabu was a good fighter. I mean, Makabu, if you go and you look at his resume, he beat the likes of Tabasio Mchunu, who also fought Usyk and is a solid fighter in his own right. He's the only man outside of Glenn Johnson. He's the only man outside of Bernard Hopkins to stop Glenn Johnson. And Glenn Johnson has fought a whole host of fighters. I mean, for those of you who know anything about Glenn Johnson, he's been in boxing for a long time. He's fought a lot of big names. So for Bellew to beat a guy like that, to get him off the canvas to beat a guy like that with the pressure of performing at Goodison Park, that really that should show you that was a good fight, that was a good win. And then aside from that, he beat BJ Flores, who I don't rate highly, but he beat BJ Flores probably more emphatically than any other fighter has done. And then that's when he moved to fight David Haye. So, I'm not going to lie. His run at cruiserweight, it left a little bit to be desired, but he did have some quality wins on there. But what better way to try to validate that cruiserweight run and put the best stamp on your career you could possibly put on your career by taking on one of these monsters in either Gassiev or Usyk, whoever may win, and trying to go undisputed, man. I mean, I think at this point, if we're watching Tony Bellew, if we're watching the progression of him as a fighter, if we're watching, the kind of, he did good numbers at Goodison Park. He's doing good numbers. He sold out twice the O2 Arena with David Haye. I think it's fair to say that at least in the UK and within the realms of UK boxing, that Tony Bellew in the last couple of years has turned himself into a box office draw over there. One of the top drawing fighters over there for sure. And it's a big fight. It's a fight that they could have at this is a fight that they could bring to the O2 Arena for the Undisputed Championship of the world. I think it'd be very entertaining, man. Tony Bellew against Gassiev, I think, is the more entertaining matchup of the two, because Gassiev is a come forward fighter. Gassiev has a piston-like jab. Gassiev likes to throw just these wicked body shots. So I think style-wise, the more entertaining fight is Gassiev. Ultimately, I think Usyk will win the tournament. I've said that from the outset, from the beginning of the tournament. I think Usyk will take the cruiserweight portion of the World Boxing Super Series. So if Bellew is able to beat Usyk, right? Because people make a big deal about Usyk. People say Usyk is gonna go down as the greatest cruiserweight of all time. He has a chance to be just that, maybe even greater than Evander Holyfield. People aren't even going that far to say that about Usyk, and I think those claims, they're in the process of becoming very valid, because he hasn't even had 15 fights yet, and he's in the process of fighting for the Undisputed Championship at cruiserweight. So it says a lot about him as a fighter. It says a lot about the guys he's beaten already on his resume. And if Bellew is to be a guy like that, like Usyk, we're talking multiple. We're talking about a gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, highly regarded as one of the best cruiserweights there is. I mean, like I said, you're looking at a guy who might have a Hall of Fame career, because you got to look at the names of his resume. He's beaten the likes of Chilemba. He's beaten Nathan Cleverly. He's beaten David Haye twice. He's beaten I'm forgetting someone. David Haye twice, Chilemba, Cleverly, Makabu, Flores, and there's someone else I know I'm forgetting. But the only man that's really legitimately, decisively, with no questions asked, beat Tony Bellew is Adonis Stevenson, and that win for Adonis is looking better and better as years go on. So yeah, I think, look, Undisputed is what I think. If you're a fighter, I know it's called prize fighting, so the money should come first, because you only have a small window to make your money, and you only have a small window to get out with your faculties in check, because it's a very small percentage of fighters that get out of boxing with their faculties in check and with their money in the bank account. It's very small. It's tough. It really is tough, because even when you get the money, a lot of fighters don't know how to manage the money. I mean, look at guys like Tommy Hearns and Riddick Bowe and guys like that. They didn't know how to manage their money, and they went broke. So Tony Bellew, he's got a chance to do something real special. And if anything, if at worst, if he goes in there and he gets obliterated by Usyk or Gassiev, I mean, at least got the opportunity to fight for Undisputed. On top of that, it's going to be another big check in his bank account. So he can retire on that note, saying I at least challenged for the Undisputed Championship of the world. A lot of guys can't even say that. A lot of guys can't even say, "Oh, I at least challenged to become Undisputed Champion." I know nobody remembers a challenger for Undisputed, but it's something you can still say that not a lot of guys in boxing will do, because of the sanctioning fees and all the excessive mandatories they enforce on guys these days. So, yeah, man, make it happen. Tony Bellew in the quest for Undisputed, I would like to see it, man. I think it's not the fastest guy in the world, not the hardest punching guy in the world, but I'll tell you one thing about Tony Bellew, man. For everything that he lacks in terms of aesthetically with his body, or being elite in one singular department, the one area where Tony Bellew is elite, I'm telling you right now, the one area where he's elite is his boxing brain. He's a very smart fighter, and I think as his career has went on, people have begun to see more and more of that. So make the fight happen, Tony Bellew, Undisputed Champion, and the fight for Undisputed. I don't care if it's against Usyk. I don't care if it's against Gassiev. But either way, I think it's a fight I really want to see, and I'm sure a lot of people would actually want to see it too, because of the simple fact that Tony Bellew is one of those guys that you either love him or you don't. A lot of people love Tony Bellew because he talks a lot and he backs it up, and a lot of people hate Tony Bellew because they think he's just this fat, loudmouth scouser. And some people, as crazy as it seems, they still view him as a second-rate fighter, which I think is ridiculous, because of the amount of times he's upset, the apple cards, as they say. So that's just my take on everything. Let me know what you guys think out there. Do you want to see Tony Bellew against the likes of Usyk or Gassiev after they conclude the World Boxing Super Series? That could be a fight you look into maybe later on this year. And I'm more than sure that it does big numbers in the UK. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every gosh darn video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.